What's up guys, Blade Master here, back with some more Total War Rome 2 online action. This is not going to be one of those super edited, highly analytical pieces that I've been posting up recently. This is just going to be a regular battle video like my previous stuff. It doesn't mean that I've stopped making the Ultra MLG super edited ones. Nope. I just, I have a ton of battles that I can show to you guys, and it's going to take a while for me to like edit and record and render some of these battles. Or some of the battles that I want to do those videos on. So in order to tide you guys over while and not make you wait like 20 days, not 20 days, like 3 or 4 days while I post each new analytical video, I'll just post some of these ones instead in the meanwhile. So I brought 3 horse skirmishes. This is a match where I've taken Armenia and my opponent has taken Parthia. Very classic Eastern faction matchup. Armenia definitely has a poorer faction, poorer roster compared to Parthia. And let's take a look at what else I've brought. I've taken 3 horse skirmishes. It looks like I've brought a total of 4 Eastern archers and 4 Eastern slingers, like 3 or 4 Eastern archers and Eastern slingers. Very heavy skirmish line. And I've brought a total of 2 Eastern spearmen, 3 axemen, a total of 4 Eastern cataphracts and 1 royal cataphract general. My opponent, on the other hand, has brought a total of 2 Eastern spearmen, it looks like, 3 mercenary hoplites, 3 Parthian swordsmen, and it looks like he's brought 5 total Parthian foot archers. So very strong anti-infantry skirmish line. As for his cataphracts, he's only brought 3. He's brought 2 Eastern cataphracts, 1 royal cataphract general, 1 Median cav, 2 Median cav, I believe, yeah, and 1 mercenary Sarmatian lancer. So a pretty strange Parthian build from my opponent. I'm going to immediately circle around with 2 of my horse skirmishers and move around with the other horse skirmisher just to give him something to chase after, while these 2 units start doing the business on his general. They are very close to his royal cataphract general, and this is actually not looking very good. Oops, shit. Great camera work there, Blade. But it's not looking very good there from here from my opponent. He's running away with his cataphracts, but they're super slow compared to my very quick horse skirmishers. Just very easily gotten into the rear of his line. His Eastern spearmen, here's a very clear mistake that my opponent has made. He's moved around with 2 of his Eastern spearmen. They're bunched up here for no reason. He could have used 1 to screen off these 2 Eastern those 2 horse skirmishers, and 1 to screen off this horse skirmisher. But he hasn't done that, and it's given my horse skirmishers free reign to just shower his royal cataphracts with javelins. That 41 missile damage will kill off even these heavily armored royal cataphracts. You can see 5 of them have already died. That's a huge amount of damage that's been done. You can see more of them are dropping, and they're going to start dropping very quickly because, kind of like elephants, these units have very high HP. So once you whittle down their HP, they'll start dropping in numbers very quickly. The Eastern cataphracts are still at full strength, but yeah, I don't even care about them. If I can get a gen snipe earlier on in this game, that will be a huge deciding factor for me. And you can see that it's going to go, it's most likely going to happen. I've already destroyed his royal cataphracts to 47 units, and they're going to chase after my really quick horse skirmishes in the meanwhile. And it looks like they're about to catch one of these horse skirmishes for some reason. Wow, the slowest cataphract unit in the game has actually caught my horse skirmishes. Great job, skirmish AI. Meanwhile, I'm lining up with my units over here. My skirmish line is going to line up against his. You can see I've brought 3 Eastern slingers. That's pretty apparent now. I'm going to move up in front with these units, and they're going to take on his 5 Parthian foot archers. I'm going to save my more vulnerable 4 Eastern archers and use them to try and kill off his Parthian swordsmen. His royal cataphracts have only 42 men left, so I think my horse skirmishers have been more than cost effective so far. I'm going to try and focus fire on one of his Parthian foot archers, while I don't know if he's focusing fire. No, it doesn't look like he's focusing fire on my Eastern slingers. You can see 2 or 3 of them are taking damage simultaneously, which means that I have a huge upper hand in that sense. You always want to, 1, spread out your skirmish line as thin as possible when you're going on a skirmish and skirmish engagement, and you always want to focus fire on 1 unit. So even though he's used precision shot on all of his units, I've just focused fire with 3 of my Eastern slingers. Slingers in general will do a good job against these very lightly armored, low morale Parthian foot archers. So there we go. I've killed off 1 of his units. Meanwhile, my Eastern slingers really haven't taken all that much of damage. 68 units left on 1 of them, but the other ones are basically at full strength. I'm going to focus fire on the next, just systematically start to destroy his skirmish line. Meanwhile, he's still not focusing fire on my units. but he is getting some pretty decent angles. He could get some pretty decent angles on one of these Eastern Slingers if he tried, because they are at a weird angle to his units. Now I'm going to move up way too late with my Eastern Cataphracts here, so his Median Cav are going to get an uninterrupted charge, but they're going to get counter-charged eventually by my Eastern Cataphracts, and that's going to be it for them. My Axemen is starting to throw some javelins, which is probably going to cause a lot of friendly fire casualties here. I'm meanwhile going to get an attack order with my Eastern Spearmen here, like that's going to do much against his Royal Cataphract General. But in any case, it's going to bog them down for the couple of seconds required for my full strength Eastern Cataphracts to get a devastating charge on his General. Well, wow, that was anticlimactic. I thought I'd be able to get a pretty decent charge at least. But you can see these Royal Cataphracts have already started to drop really quickly because my Eastern Archers are getting good shots on them in the meanwhile. So from each volley, they'll probably start dropping very, very quickly. Yeah, you can see 3 or 4 of them have started to drop. His Median Cav are obviously going to get slaughtered by my Eastern Cataphracts. These Cataphracts have actually dropped by 2 men, or 2 units. But the Median Cav is just about done. His General here is it's a huge concern for him. Meanwhile, this Eastern Cataphract is not being microed, and they're getting some flank shots from 2 of my Horse Skirmishers. And those Horse Skirmishers will just get amazing kills on these units. 18 kills and 11 kills on both of them. Now my Royal Cataphract General over here and my Eastern Cataphracts are going to get some beautiful charges on his Parthian swords. Here, this is the problem with his deployment. He deployed 3 of his mercenary hoplites at once and 3 of his Parthian swordsmen at once. That gave me a clear target to just crash into and then pull straight through. His Parthian swordsmen have suffered a ton of casualties now. I haven't timed it the best because now these units are back up, and what I ideally want is for those units to just be chilling on the ground while my Axemen come in to just get an uninterrupted charge there. His Royal Cataphracts have only 18 men left. I have got 104 kills by killing off that Eastern Spearman unit, but they haven't killed even a single unit of my Eastern Cataphracts. His other Eastern Cataphract though has come into support, and they're going to be engaged with my Axemen here. And now my Axemen in the mainland are going to attack his Parthian swordsmen. Meanwhile, this Axemen unit, I've turned off formation attack, so they're going to wrap around these mercenary hoplites. His Parthian foot archers really haven't done any damage here. I still have some Eastern Slingers and some full strength Eastern Archers to just completely slaughter these Parthian foot archers. No point in them trying to attack these very well armored hoplites. Meanwhile, my Slingers can just do just as good a job in that sense. Here, my Eastern Cataphract has bogged down his general, killed off his general, I believe. They only have 14 units left. I'm going to rear charge with my Horse Skirmishers because they were out of ammo, and I want that morale penalty to start kicking in. They're starting to waver now. Casualties sustained. If that general dies at that point, then those Royal Cataphracts are out. These Eastern Cataphracts are getting way too far away from the rest of the battle. They're going to chase after this Eastern Slinger unit, which is pretty inconsequential, and his Royal Cataphract meanwhile has died. My Eastern Cataphract here getting a ton of kills by crashing into his Parthian swordsman. My Royal Cataphract here has not lost a single unit and has crashed straight through his Parthian swordsman line and gotten into his Eastern Spearman, and now they're in a very advantageous position. They can I'm not really sure what I'm trying to do with them. I've set an attack order or a movement order over there, and I eventually want to rear charge his mercenary hoplites. My Axemen are starting to die pretty quickly here, which is kind of strange. I mean, these are pretty decent units, but they're starting to drop to these mercenary hoplites. But over here, his Parthian swordsmen have been no match to my Axemen because they got charged at, so their HP was whittled down by a ton. And these mercenary hoplites are getting flank shot by Eastern Archers, and their general has died too. So even though they have pretty decent morale at 55, they're obviously going to start routing sooner rather than later. His Parthian swordsmen here are braced with shield wall to protect them from front charge, but they're not going to be protected by a rear charge from my Axemen here. Those Axemen have got a single experience chevron. The other one has got 20 kills, but almost a single experience chevron because they killed a lot of his Cataphracts. And he's left only with mercenary hoplites here, and they're obviously going to get slaughtered. The rest of his mercenary hoplites are starting to waver now, and this one is wavering with a full strength hoplite unit. And that's just about it, you guys. I think this is a close victory. Yeah, well played to my opponent. But you know, he made a couple of he's a pretty new player to Rome 2, so for a new player he definitely played pretty well. His build was kind of okay. He shouldn't have brought these mercenary Sarmatian Lancers. They really didn't do anything in the battle before they got slaughtered. He shouldn't have brought Median Cav as well. Instead, he should have just brought some more Eastern Cataphracts. Bringing 5 Parthian foot archers is a good idea, but if you're going to bring a heavily skirmish Parthian build, you always want to bring at least a couple of Eastern Slingers, especially when you're going up against Armenia, because if you have to think of it, think of this engagement from my perspective. I'm going to be fighting up definitely against some Parthian foot archers. I'm also going to be fighting up against some Cataphracts. Cataphracts have heavy armor. Eastern Slingers have good armor penetration. Eastern Slingers can slaughter Parthian foot archers. So your Armenian opponent will absolutely, definitely bring Eastern Slingers any day of the week. So you don't want your Parthian foot archers to go up against them. So you always want to bring 2 or 3 Eastern Slingers just to counter that threat. And in any case, if you're going up against Armenia, you know that you're going to be faced up against some Cataphracts as well. So some Slingers could actually do pretty well there. Maybe even some Eastern Javelin men. I've seen Eastern Javelin men get a ton of kills because, they again have that 41 missile damage just like these horse skirmishers. So they can actually do a lot of damage. So yeah, bringing Parthian foot archers on paper is a good idea, but when you're going up against Armenia, you always want to intersperse them with 2 or 3 Eastern Slingers. He didn't use his Eastern Spearmen well. He should have screened off my horse skirmishers. They did a ton of damage. Like, even though they haven't gotten a lot of kills, they basically won me the match right from the start of the game because they got so many HP shots and kills on his Royal Cataphract General. They got 120 kills. His Royal Cataphract General got 120 kills, but basically did nothing. He just killed off an Eastern Spearman unit and then died. The Eastern Cataphracts as well didn't really do too much. He could have used them to charge at my Axemen, but he was too busy because I took the initiative by killing off a lot of his general and then getting a lot of kills with my Parthian with my Eastern Slingers and my Eastern Archers onto his general. So he was scrambling at that moment and he didn't know what to do with his limited amount of Cataphracts. So maybe if he brought 3 or 4 of them, used them to do what I did and just crash into my much weaker main line, he probably could have won the game. And also interspersing his mercenary hoplites with his Parthian swordsman would have been a good idea instead of keeping them at one side and keeping his Parthian swordsman on the other side, presenting me with a very easy shock charge target. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this battle. Hope you enjoyed it and stay tuned for more. Peace.